if I'm drafting early, I don't want to draft Justin Jefferson because it scares me.
Whoa.
The quarterback situation really scares me there. You know, you have an extremely accurate quarterback in Kirk Cousins who is not there anymore.
So let's say you're like the 10th pick in the first round. You're not drafting Jettis?
No. I am.
He said top 5.
I have A.J. Brown. I have Garrett Wilson ranked over Justin Jefferson.
Are you saying that Justin Jefferson's not a top 5 fantasy wide receiver this year? Welcome back to another episode of Caps Off, presented by Better. This might be the most special episode we've done so far.
This is sick.
This is crazy. And it's not because of you, Faraz. Sorry, brother.
No, Faraz is like...
Faraz is okay.
Like he's neat.
He's all right.
Right? The backdrop's cooler, though,
The backdrop's
for sure.
cooler. But
Yeah.
before we go into the backdrop, we have Faraz Siddiqi of Upperhand Fantasy. I think if you're on Instagram, you've probably seen Faraz before. So
if you play fantasy football and you don't know Faraz, get to know him, please. Don't be stupid.
You want to say hi, Faraz?
Oh, hey, guys.
Yeah.
No, you can talk literally whenever. This is not a structured thing.
I'm Faraz.
Yeah.
Upperhand Fantasy. I mean, I've been on the
done this
show.
a few times.
I was going to say, the fact that you were scared to start talking is crazy.
No, I was just listening to you guys. You guys sound great. So,
thank you.
Let's get it popping, man. The season's about to be here. Preseason is literally kicked off this weekend
I'm
for the most
excited.
part. And
I feel like the preseason is your Super Bowl, right? Like, as a fantasy creator, like, this is your shit.
I feel like that's a
Yeah.
horrible
season.
I honestly think that's a horrible take.
I do too.
I feel like
but,
the playoffs.
but I'm going to play off of this a little bit, and I think you're right because this is when we really can see which players are on the field with the starters. Who are they rotating with? Are they coming off the field? There's a lot of important data that comes from the preseason. A lot of people say the preseason doesn't matter, and I wholeheartedly disagree.
Yeah, what? But before we're going to talk a lot of fantasy football this episode, obviously, because we have Faraz. But before we jump into it, you got to look around. I mean, if you're listening, I highly recommend going either to TikTok or go to YouTube and look around.
Go to YouTube, check out this full episode here. It's so sick.
We are in Canton, Ohio, at the Fantasy Football Expo with Hall of Fame Village.
So sick. Like,
the backdrop is literally the Hall of Fame stadium.
We were talking to the guys and we're like, all right, so where should we shoot this pod? He's like, you can do it like
in the stadium.
At the stadium, like with the field in the background if you want. We're like,
this is
that
crazy.
Sounds sick.
So if you hear like a highway, there is a highway there. If you hear
an AC
unit, but we're sitting literally at the stadium where the Bears played just about a week ago.
Like if the producer Tycho's here with us, like if he, does a little research, he could probably find Caleb Williams like spit somewhere.
No, he found his hair.
He did find. Yesterday we were at the stadium and Tycho found Caleb Williams' hair. He thinks he's almost positive in the shower. Really weird move.
Oh, in the shower. Okay.
No, we have to. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know why he told me about that last night, but he did.
No, he's like telling everybody about it.
Yeah.
He thinks he can sell it for thousands of dollars. Like, we don't even know if that's Caleb Williams yet.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out Hall of Fame Village, obviously. They are the resort and entertainment destination centered around the Pro Football Hall of Fame here in Canton, Ohio. They've obviously been amazing for us, been taking care of us. So I do want to say that if you have never been to Canton, Ohio for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you got to come check it out. It's Disney World, but for football. It's pretty crazy. There's actually rides. It's insane.
Sick zip line.
Yeah, we haven't gone on it.
I know, but Tycho talks it up like crazy, so I have to assume it's actually dope.
That's real cool.
The Hall of Fame's really cool. Like, actually seeing all the busts was really sick.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's cool. And before we jump into it, obviously, as a reminder, presented by Better, right? The only daily fantasy sports app where you can 1,000x your money. So make sure to download Better, play Better picks. The football season's right here. Season-long projections. You can set your lineups right now. So make sure to download Better and use promo code CAPSOFF.
Even preseason lineups right now. Have
it's
fun
a ton.
with it.
Yeah.
This is the only time you're going to have to be able to make a lineup with some of these guys, so have fun.
It's fun. I mean, we're doing a lot of yapping, and I want to get Faraz to yap now. So, hey, Faraz. How you doing?
can yap. Honestly, I've been doing the same thing, to be honest with you. Like,
you've been yapping like all weekend. Huh?
I know I have, honestly. But, all the rookies, like, if Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, even a couple of these other rookie quarterbacks, have been playing relatively well. So if you put the over on or the higher on a lot of these guys, you're looking pretty good this weekend,
Yeah, I mean, you said Caleb Williams looked awesome today. We're
Did you see
recording
that throw?
on Saturday.
That throw? I don't know if you guys see the
No,
clip.
I honestly
my
didn't.
God.
Should I be looking up Caleb Williams?
He was scrambling. He was under pressure.
I'm looking it up.
Scrambling to the right. And off of one leg, kind of off balance, dart to the right sideline.
Jeez.
I'm looking it up.
I think it was Cole Kmet on that play.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, my God. Wait, Adam, show me it, too.
Here we go. Hold on.
Please.
Here you go. Here it is.
Wait, no.
Okay,
this is a full. This is a play-by-play. I just want the actual play.
Doing, man?
Yep. There you go. There it is.
Is this
Is
it?
that it? I don't know. This might be the DJ Moore one. That's a DJ Moore.
Oh, that was a dot in between three defenders?
Not only was it a dot, it was like such a quick
like
throw.
a missile.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Yep, there it is. There it is. You see that?
Oh, wait.
Look at how
On the
off
run.
balance he was.
Oh, my God.
That was that far. I thought he was throwing to the short
Unbelievable.
guy.
That was like a 20-yard pass.
Wait, we gotta watch it one more
Than
time.
that. Holy
For
hell.
comps, we're watching
Dude,
Caleb
Caleb
Williams
Williams might actually be
on
that
the run.
motherfucker.
I think so, man.
Kind of looks swaggy too. All right, here we go. One more time.
He looks so good in that Bears uniform. by the
Tycho,
way.
this is for you. Pump
And
fake.
with the pump fake.
25
yards
yards down.
yard throw.
Unbelievable.
With two defenders right on his ass. That's crazy.
So I
On the
feel like
sideline?
should we
my
start with
God.
Bears talk? I mean, like, what
Sure.
are your
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? In my opinion, I think that the Bears are a team. What?
Did he just ask me what are your thoughts?
What are your
No.
thoughts
Well,
in my
I
opinion?
it
Yeah.
was what are your thoughts, comma. In my opinion, I think the Bears are a team that's going to contend in the NFC this year. I just think there's too much talent around Caleb Williams. I want to know your thoughts, your overall idea behind where this Bears team can go this year.
Yeah, I think so. Is the division, in the realm of possibilities? I don't think so.
The Lions are just too good.
I think the Lions are going to do that. Now, are the Bears good enough to make the wild card? I think it's possible, but we're going to have to see like a legit year. Obviously, Caleb Williams has the weapons. We could see, a very similar year to
Right,
we saw.
right.
We saw, C.J. Stroud last year potentially because he has the weapons. So it's one of those situations where I think the defense isn't bad. I think the offense can really get it done. They're going to be a passing team because they don't have a running back who they can really depend on the ground.
They don't have a workhorse.
No,
like,
they don't.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift. And that's they have a potentially of a split backfield. I don't really know what they're going to do there
with like Khalil and Roshan.
Herbert, Roshan Johnson.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. But I do think they could be a sleeper team for sure, especially if Caleb.
I feel like
steps it up.
they seem like a team that's going to start off kind of slow, just because like obviously Caleb Williams get used to the NFL, buddy, and then start or finish off just so hot and maybe sneak in the wild card or just miss the playoffs. But everyone's like, holy fuck, this team next year in 2025 is going to be ridiculous.
I can see that.
It's almost like what obviously the Texans won a playoff game, but the way I view the Bears is like if they can just be in that hunt, knowing how much talent they have and knowing that their future's locked up, this Bears team is going to be
like I know producer
real.
Tycho, huge Bears fan. If they're
Bears
in
fan.
the hunt all year long, he's so happy.
Yeah, but that's all you want, right? That's all you would want.
It's similar to the Lions a couple years ago too, right? You have this up and coming team, but they don't end up making the playoffs, right? But the following year they're most likely. Going to
I can
the playoffs,
see the Bears doing the 2024 Bears could be the 2022 Lions, where you start off kind of shitty and no one really thinks about them, and then you end the season super hot.
Wow,
your offense is clicking on all cylinders. You can beat anybody. Maybe the Bears last game of the season, like the Lions did, play spoiler to the Packers for the playoff. Like everything's kind of lining up like that. I kind of don't mind that as a year for the Bears, even if you don't make the playoffs.
Agreed.
But I feel that this Bears team has way too much hype around them to be able to afford starting that slow. Like I just don't see them being able to do that. They're going to be ridiculed and tarred and feathered to fucking
there's also
do that.
we're talking about the offense a lot. Like there is a whole nother side of the ball. The defense is kind of like piecemealed together the last year or two. I don't know how.
Their defense was better last year.
It was better. Towards
the back half of the year,
but Tremaine Edmonds is not the same guy that he used to be. T.J. Edwards was good. Jalen Johnson's great. Aside from them, it's a pretty weak Bears defense. I'm not sure if the defense is going to help the offense out as much as they need to actually be in the playoffs.
Faraz,
I would love to see some progression.
I feel like this has been debated, and we've debated this a lot, and I want to know because we're talking about the Bears right now, but which team has the better wide receiver trio, the Bears or the Texans?
Oh, the Texans.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
Don't they have Robert Woods too.
Yeah, but whatever.
The Texans have Robert Woods?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's a wide receiver 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I think if you're just talking trio though, I still think it's the Texans. I think people really underrate Nico Collins.
I certainly do. By the way.
Yeah. Nico
I am
Collins
one of those
is
guys.
on the level of a top 5 wide receiver in the
Whoa!
No!
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
hold on.
saying Nico Collins is a top 5 wide receiver in football, or he's like?
He's on that level. He's in that conversation.
Faraz, I love you, man, but that's the craziest thing I ever heard you
I
say.
mean, I could rip 8 wide receivers better than Nico Collins out of the gate.
I could rip 15.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, Jettis.
Yes.
1.
Tyreek.
Yes. CD.
CD.
Yes.
AJ Brown.
Yes.
Jamar.
Yes.
Amon-Ra.
Cooper Kupp.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna.
Oh, Amon-Ra, you're gonna stop?
Here's the thing. Amon-Ra
Brother.
runs out of the slot. If he was playing on the outside, he would not be anywhere close to the type of receiver that Nico Collins
If
would be.
Cooper Kupp was on the outside, he wouldn't be the same. But
Yeah.
but
But that's what
that's how they play.
That's what they play.
That's what they play, but it's you're evaluating.
saying X's are the only guys that matter.
evaluating. No,
You're
you're
slot
evaluating.
shaming. You're slot shaming.
I'm slot shaming.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're evaluating the receiver and who they are, right? How good are you against man? How good are you against press? How good are you against zone? Nico Collins can run laps around Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Brandon Ayuk. Sorry. Garrett Wilson.
Sure.
I'll take both of them. Yeah.
Yep.
Jalen Waddle.
No, I'll go Nico over Jalen.
I'll take Terry McLaurin over Nico Collins
No,
as well.
not me.
I'll still
T.
take
Higgins.
Stephon Diggs.
No, I mean definitely
I'll
not
still
me.
take Diggs.
Diggs is the number 2 in that offense, not.
I think Tank Dell's going to be the number 1. I think Tank Dell's going to end up as the top receiver on the Texans this year.
I think
Really?
to clear,
It's a crapshoot between those three, dude.
I feel like Nico
honestly.
Collins is a guy that has the talent to break into that top 10, but to say that Nico Collins is there now, we can't say that whatsoever.
I think we can. I think if you evaluate Nico Collins on how he runs routes, how he gets separation, and the fact that he has to deal with press coverage on almost every single play as an X receiver, something that Stephon Diggs used to do. He's not going to do that this year. As a matter of fact, in this just preseason game today, he was lining up out of the slot on most of the routes, which is super interesting.
I had a feeling Stephon Diggs with his route running is just going to be a slot guy this year towards like the tail end of his career.
Yeah, I think it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And I think towards the tail end of careers for these like elite wide receivers, I think going into the slot makes so much more sense, and he can be so much more productive.
He can still be super dynamic out of the slot.
Well, he was going to be either the slot
role.
or the flanker. He was going to be one of those two. Nico's going to be the X regardless, right?
Well, makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, bringing it back to fantasy, though, so is Nico Collins the number 1 wide receiver you'd want to own on the Texans, even at his ADP?
Easily.
Because his ADP is higher right now than Diggs,
And
no?
I've been grabbing a ton of him, to be honest with you. Because I'm viewing him as, C.J. Stroud's number 1 wide receiver. So if I'm projecting a big jump in C.J. Stroud's numbers this year, and the
How
entire
much did
offense.
he jump? He was so sick.
He was so good, but I think consistency is going to be better.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people point to the splits when Nico and Tank were on the field, and it was super similar, right?
Yeah.
And you can even make an argument for Tank in those comparisons, but it was a small sample size. And now with Stephon Diggs there, I think it's going to make things a little bit more, spread out a little bit between Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, so like fantasy-wise, I guess, so obviously you have Nico Collins 1 as the Texans receivers. Yeah. How would you rank that trio
as of right now?
Fantasy relevance?
I have Nico, Diggs, Tank Dell. However, I do think Stephon Diggs is going to out-target Tank Dell. However, I do think that it's very possible that Tank Dell ends up outscoring Stephon Diggs from a fantasy football perspective, especially in half PPR formats where you're not necessarily depending on the receptions, but big plays matter a lot more.
Are you scared to draft any of those 3 wide receivers though? Because I feel like it's such a crapshoot of who's actually going to be that number 1.
I think you have to, but by the way, you have to say that there is inherent fear with drafting someone where there's 3 guys that can all perform.
Like, are you in your drafts that you've had already in mock drafts? Are you taking them, or are you just kind of avoiding them and taking the?
Oh no, I am taking Nico Collins heavily because I think he's dropping to the point where people think that he's not like that true number 1. There's a lot of confusion.
People think it's going to be Diggs just because of name value, right?
Sure. And Diggs is going second, and then Tank Dell. So what I've been doing in my drafts is I've been taking Nico a lot, and when I don't end up taking Nico and I grab somebody else, I will wait past Diggs, and then I will take Tank Dell.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So because I think Tank Dell has that upside.
I'm just scared to take any of those guys because it's literally such a shit show. I don't know what
I would say just
happen.
Take any of them. Take any of them because I think all of them are going to
33% chance to get a top 10 fantasy wide receiver.
Sure,
probably, right?
and I think Tank Dell is obviously the best value because I think he can end up being the wide receiver 2. I don't think he can be the wide receiver 1 on this team when it's all said and done, assuming all these guys play a full.
Yeah, but you see that's how I kind of view Diggs because I feel like Diggs' value is being baked. Like the value of Stephon Diggs this year has everything to do with how the offense was in Buffalo last year. And don't get me wrong, he wasn't the same towards the back half of the year, but the entire offense shifted towards a far more run heavy as soon as
Dorsey left.
Ken Dorsey left, exactly. So I think we're all forgetting what Stephon Diggs can do. And that's why for me, when I look at value, if Nico Collins is being drafted in the late 2nd, 3rd, kind of around that, maybe even if he falls.
I wouldn't mind him in the 3rd round.
I don't mind Stephon Diggs in the 4th.
Well, Stephon Diggs right now is going in the 3rd. Nico Collins is going in the 2nd.
Oh, okay.
But have you seen in any ADP that Diggs drops?
Yeah, a little bit. People are scared of that situation, so I do see Diggs falling a little bit. And listen, man. If Diggs falls in drafts, like I am going to take advantage of that value.
Exactly. Take the chance.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Because I do think he's a better receiver than Tank Dell. But Tank Dell, Tank Dell looks like he's going to be playing that flanker role, and that's where
big playability.
Big playability, right? He's going to be getting a lot of stuff down the
Bobby
field.
Slowick too.
Bobby Slowick. Everything is
sick.
coming together for these guys. Let's just hope they stay healthy because I want to see this offense at its max capacity.
That's fair.
It's going to be a fun offense.
It's going to be so much fun.
Oh my god.
I want to bring it back to obviously more niche fantasy talk, but we've kind of debated this a lot, and so much of what we wanted to do here in Canton is obviously figure out the best draft strategy for us. Like we are now competing in Jake Paul's 50K league, spoiler alert. So I'm curious to ask you, Faraz, what is the best and worst spot to draft in this year in fantasy drafts if you're in that 1st round, right? So would you rather have a top 4 pick or would you rather be in the back half? What is the best spot to draft at? Give me a range of 2 and then the worst spot to draft at.
And this is in a 12 team.
In a 12 team, of course.
Yeah.
If you're playing at a 10, you should.
I like that 4-5 spot ish because the 2 guys that I really aim for around that spot are Amon-Ra St. Brown and Breece Hall. Those are the two
Yeah.
guys that I'm looking to get in the middle of the first round. And then in the second and third round, hopefully, depending on what kind of platform you're drafting on, there are a couple running backs you can end up getting, right? You can get Isaiah Pacheco, who I personally think can end up as a top 5 running back this year for fantasy.
Love that.
There's guys like, I think the lower end of that, like close to elite running back tier is Travis Etienne, who you might be able to get early third round. So if you're drafting somewhat
that
early
4 or
first,
5,
4 or 5, and then you're kind of towards the end of the second, and then kind of towards the early third.
Yeah.
Those are the running backs that I'm trying to get. Also, I've seen Devon Achane fall to that range also. So those 3 running backs are kind of who I'm looking at. If I can get, let's say I start with Amon-Ra early on, and then I end up with 2 of those running backs in the second and third round, I'm golden.
You could now stack
that's
it.
an insane start. Yeah.
Well, what about if we're obviously talking the best and the worst spot to draft? Then, like, are you confident enough to say that this player would be the worst pick in the first round of the draft, of any fantasy draft? Is there some? Because for me, and I've heard this from a few people.
You guys are gonna hate this answer, but okay.
Then don't say it. But I've heard literally people say Puka Nacua is the worst pick in the first round of fantasy drafts.
A lot of people are
for
saying
the reasons solely based on Cooper Kupp if he's healthy, and the fact of the matter is he is healthy. I want to know from you though, who is the worst pick in the first round of fantasy drafts?
Listen, you mentioned Puka. I would say that even with Cooper Kupp completely healthy, I think Puka's still going to absolutely kill it. I would agree that he might not be my favorite first-round pick.
Okay.
I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is like kind of on that teeter.
Yeah.
Like 1-2
I'd rather have Marv, I think, than Puka for sure.
I think this year I'm definitely. I would personally go Puka just because like he showed what he could do in this offense with Matthew Stafford. And obviously Marvin Harris is going to get like 170 targets this year, I think, right? Him and Trey McBride are going to absolutely kill it with Kyler. But to answer your question, I think probably I think if I'm drafting early, within the top 4 or 5 picks, I don't want to draft Justin Jefferson because it scares me.
Whoa.
It scares me. The quarterback situation really scares me there. You have an extremely accurate quarterback in Kirk Cousins who is not there anymore. He's willing to throw the deep ball and be accurate on those deep balls.
So let's say you're like the 10th pick in the first round. You're not drafting Jettis?
No. I am.
Okay.
If it
He
was
said
a 10th
top
pick,
5.
sure.
Okay, sorry.
But I will say that, and you're not going to like this, but I have A.J. Brown, I have Garrett Wilson ranked over Justin Jefferson.
Are you
this year.
saying that Justin Jefferson's not a top 5 fantasy wide receiver this year? Is that like kind of?
I would say he's right at like around right at 5.
Yeah, where would you rank him? Like what wide receivers in fantasy would you put above Jettis?
I have CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown,
Not AJ.
Garrett Wilson.
No, not Garrett.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I just
and
don't-
Jamar Chase.
I got to interject.
So you have
Yeah.
6 ahead of him.
Yeah, actually, I think he's at 6 or 7.
Oh my!
I gotta
God.
interject.
He's right next to Jamar Chase.
Faraz, how the fuck can you put Garrett Wilson over Justin Jefferson, given that Justin Jefferson with fucking Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs, shout out
Well, and Kirk for a little
Alopecia,
bit
and Kirk for a little bit, but like for a couple games before he obviously tore the Achilles, still put up 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
He had played 9 fucking games at 1,000 yards. If you take his average, Justin Jefferson is putting up 1,800 fucking yards.
I thought you said
with
it was
Nick
like
Mullins.
1,900.
It was like 1,930 to be
Yeah.
exact. If I just took his yards
Listen,
per game,
we can extrapolate that
Good
all
word.
we want. Like
Sick
that.
word, yeah.
But I don't do that. Like, I don't take this small sample size and just extrapolate it with shitty quarterbacks just because he ended up going off in those games. Remember, 2 of the games that he went, there were 4 game sample size with the quarterbacks that you mentioned. 2 of those games were against the Lions' shitty defense, shitty secondary. He went off 180 yards each of those games.
but still a bad quarterback. So they're still giving him targets.
But the Lions, though, okay, that was one of the best matchups he could have had. Okay, so we cannot take that small sample size and think that Sam Darnold is going to be able to do the same thing with him over a much longer sample size. I'd rather take these receivers like Garrett Wilson, who has a quarterback who will be able to get him the ball and still give him 160, 170 targets. They have nobody there, and Garrett Wilson's an elite wide receiver. So for fantasy, I do think there's going to be some variance with Justin Jefferson's fantasy performances this year, and I'm not saying he's not going to have a great year. He's going to have a 1,400 yard year potentially, but I'd rather take. I think it's just a little bit of too high of a risk for me to take him early on. In the
I think
first
there's
round.
just as many risks with Garrett Wilson personally. Like,
Well, yeah, we haven't actually seen Garrett Wilson put it together. I know there's the quarterback play and everything like that for him, right?
I totally get
But-
that. Yeah, you know what it is? It's like I don't look at like the stats that he put up with those shitty quarterbacks. I look at who he is as a receiver and what that volume and the production based on the talent that he is going to look like this year. So it's all about projections.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
understand. Yeah.
So, sure, he didn't do it again, but if I don't pick him this year where he's going, like it's gonna be too late. Like I'm gonna miss out. So I don't want to miss out on that just because he hasn't done it already. I'm projecting him to do it this year so that, with all the stuff that we do. So like I'd rather take him this year, late back half of the first round, because I think next year, well, who knows if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there, and he's going to be a year older. So I don't know if Garrett Wilson is going to be the best pick next year. So I'm all in on Garrett Wilson this year. I think he is an elite receiver, and I think he's going to get a shit ton of volume.
Full disclosure, he's a Jets fan also. So there's a little bit inherent bias.
Listen,
Am I right there?
Yeah, let me a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I just think, like, don't get me wrong. I understand what you're trying to say, and I think Jettis and Garrett Wilson's range of outcomes are actually fairly similar. But I feel a lot more confident knowing who Justin Jefferson is versus projecting against what Garrett Wilson can be.
Who has a higher chance of finishing overall wide receiver 1? That's Justin Jefferson.
Of course.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's been there, done that.
I agree. I agree because he's a much better. He's like the wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Right?
Yes.
Like he is the guy.
Well, and I'm curious too. Like I know there are. Let's be real, Jetto's going to tell this, but I get the quarterback troubles that you're going to say with like Darnold or JJ McCarthy, whoever's going to start for the Vikings. But it almost makes me think like, yeah, they might not be very good, but like they're going to be just feeding. Like if I'm them, I'm feeding the living shit out of Justin Jefferson.
Quarterback quality matters. Okay, target quality matters. Off-target percentage is going to be really, really high with those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes
catchable
sense.
targets matter. I don't.
But
like,
that dude can catch everything.
Is there no? Are we just going to ignore the inevitable of Aaron Rodgers being able to stay healthy with the offensive line? Don't get me wrong. You brought in Tyron Smith, but we're still talking about an offensive line that we have not seen put it together as well. We are still signing older guys. So that's a variable in its own. But at least, can the offensive line hold up? And B, is Aaron Rodgers going to stay healthy? That's a huge variable.
At least they have Tyrod Taylor backing him up. At least. So it's like it's a little bit of a obviously I don't want to depend. Like if Tyrod Taylor was a quarterback right now, I wouldn't be drafting Garrett Wilson over Justin Jefferson.
Oh, no.
But I mean,
he's a serviceable backup.
At least he's a serviceable backup. Maybe better than Sam Darnold. So
I would venture to say so.
So I think that's a situation where like at least the Jets took care of that QB2 issue, whereas at least there's a little bit of a backup plan.
I kind of hate it.
I
told you. I know you hate it.
I told you guys would hate it.
But like for me, yeah, sure, I get it. I mean,
honestly, there's only like maybe 2 receivers that I'm taking over Justin Jefferson, and that's Tyreek and CD.
Right.
Like
I'd rather get burned on Justin Jefferson than drafting Garrett Wilson again and getting burned again.
Right.
Like I'd rather know that I am drafting someone that, regardless of who the quarterback is, can give me 1,200 yards as your baseline. That is your floor. Yeah. Garrett Wilson, we know his ceiling is there. I think Garrett Wilson possesses every possible quality to be one of the most elite wide receivers in the league. The problem is there are other variables at play there, and I think actually Jettis and Garrett Wilson are fairly similar. If I had to if I'm commenting.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I do think it's similar. I think the risk reward is a little bit just slightly
well,
bit
if you
better.
take Garrett Wilson in the back half of the first, then you're fine. Yeah.
Back half.
I'm not taking him 5 though.
I'm not either because I don't need to. Right? There's other players I'd rather take at 5, 6 than Garrett Wilson.
You'd rather have a Brees or Bijan or
Bijan, even AJ Brown. Like I'd rather pick in the middle of the first round.
I want every exposure to that Eagles offense
100%.
with Kellen Moore. I don't know who it's going to be. We were talking about this, but
Saquon could go nuts.
I feel like going into fantasy leagues, it's like who do you want to have the most exposure to? I feel like the Texans are in that. The one that needs to be talked about more to me is this Eagles offense. I want exposure to anyone in that Eagles offense, even if it's fucking the white dude who's the backup running back behind Saquon Barkley. I just want to be in that offense with Kellen Moore because I know someone is going to fucking produce, whether it be Devontae or AJ Brown, Saquon or the white guy.
By the way, Saquon behind that offensive
Will Shipley.
Good name.
Saquon behind that offensive line is going to be so fucking fun, dude.
So a little bit of a nugget. Okay,
Nuggets.
We had one of the Eagles beat reporters was he was on my podcast this week, and I asked him about the tush push, right? No Jason Kelce.
Yep.
Totally different.
What's going to happen in terms of Jalen Hurts at the 1 yard line? And he said that they're doing less tush push. Jalen Hurts is running less.
Good.
And they brought in Saquon to take that pressure off of Jalen Hurts.
Oh my God, I'm going to trap the living shit out of Saquon now.
Knowing that coming from one of the Eagles' biggest beat reporters, and he's at every practice. Knowing that, Saquon just went up way higher in my rankings. I trust him way more. I think the risk goes way down.
Knowing that, where would you rank Saquon in terms of fantasy running backs this year? Is he top 3 or 5?
I would say he's probably top 6, top 7.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure how high up he jumped because him behind that offensive line is an exciting prospect already.
I think my initial reaction when he got signed was like top 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what you would think.
As you look into it a little bit more, you're like, all right, there's a couple other guys I'd rather have.
I feel like
it's close though.
Yeah. I feel like there's a clear, stark difference in tiers for running backs, right? Tier 1, CMC, Bijan, Brees Hall. We agree on that?
Yes.
Sure.
Tier 2?
I think CMC's in his own tier, but sure.
I would agree with you if he wasn't coming off 400 carries.
Okay. And he has a calf injury right now.
Exactly. Like, again.
If you're taking CMC 101 right now, you have to be a little bit nervous if you're drafting right now.
But like last year, drafting Christian McCaffrey 101 would be terrifying too, because you're like, well, he just had a fully healthy year. He's probably going to get it this year.
He's like literally injured like right now. He's like nursing a calf injury. Soft tissue injury is never great.
Well, I was talking to Zach about this, and Zach said he saw the video. Like I said on our previous podcast, I genuinely believe the first pick overall in fantasy drafts is by far the worst pick to have in fantasy drafts. And it's not necessarily because you're not going to get the best talent. Of course you are. But you need everything to go right in order to return on that investment. So I need to know, hands down, that this person is the best player in fantasy this year. And I think you can make a strong case for 5 different guys this year in fantasy that they will be the overall #1 player this year.
Brees Hall, Bijan, CD, Tyreek. Those are the
and
other
CMC?
4.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Those are the guys that are up for contention.
100%. Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of where I stand on that.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I feel you.
Like if you have the first overall pick in a draft this year, who are you taking? Like you just gut check, who do you go?
If I'm drafting today, I'm drafting Christian McCaffrey.
Still,
Yeah, still.
I think you have to.
Yes. And also I think the data behind calf injuries, typically running backs don't miss more than like 2 weeks or so.
He'll probably just not play in the preseason, just rest up,
and he'll be 100% in week 1. You know, and I think that's
he's
how
been playing for so long anyway. Like, does he really
the re-injury rate is also very low. Shout out to my guy Edwin Porras, who
this is lovely as a Niners fan to hear this. Thank God.
You do, in your head, I feel like a lot of people probably ask you this, but some people have asked us to ask you this. Who are some fantasy winners and losers this year? Who is a league winner and a league loser that you're looking at within these first couple rounds that you're like, you're either going to get burned on that person or this person can go out and win you this
it's
league?
Essentially every draft, I need this guy, and I am absolutely not fucking taking that guy.
Sure. If I didn't get A.J. Brown, I'm going to do whatever I can to get Devontae Smith.
Sure. Love
because
that.
he could see more of the slot. Kellen Moore's offense, very, very fast-paced, very, very pass oriented, right? And Jalen Hurts is just going to throw the ball more. You know, so I think this offense, like we've seen some good stuff out of this offense, and it's going to get even crazier. I heard, according to this beat reporter, that Devontae Smith is having the best camp that he's ever had.
I mean, he's going into year 4, and he was one of the best college receivers I've seen in my lifetime. So that's not shocking that he's finally going to maybe become that alpha guy.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think, one of the guys that I'm avoiding in the first couple rounds that I don't really want to draft is DJ Moore. And it's really because it's really because Tycho, I see his face right now. He's like, he's giving me the stank eye right now. I think, it's a crowded wide receiver room, obviously. Keenan Allen, can obviously out-target DJ Moore this year. And Keenan Allen's going way later. So I think, DJ Moore is definitely, one of the, near elite wide receivers, I would say. But Keenan Allen's up there too, right? Rome Odunze, and you can't.
Rome Odunze, we don't even know what.
You can't even underestimate Rome Odunze.
Well, they spent the top 10 pick on him.
He's a very good wide receiver prospect. Everyone's talking about Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr., but he has Rome Odunze has the potential to be better than both of those guys. He has that potential. So I think people are underestimating his role in the offense, right? So I think, the targets could be – I'm not saying that he'll end up being the guy, but I'm saying that the targets could be distributed enough around. And you have DeAndre Swift coming out the backfield. You have Cole Kmet. So it's a little bit crowded, right? So, will DJ Moore get the type of hyper targeted, target share like he did last year? From in this offense, I don't think so.
I'm curious. So the kind of the same question that we asked with the Texans trio of wide receivers. And in terms of fantasy football this year, how would you rank the 3 Bears wide receivers? Because I don't know if I should avoid them or take all of them. How would you rank them in terms of guys that you would want the most?
Who I want the most, or who's going to finish the highest?
I guess let's just say finish the highest.
Okay,
the
so
best to worst.
I would say I would rank it. I have it ranked right now the same way they're being taken, which is DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
Right, but I am finding myself taking some of Keenan Allen because
value-wise,
because he's going in the 5th round.
It's too good to pass. The talent is there,
and
he's so sick. He's so nice.
You can totally see a rookie quarterback depending on Keenan Allen, right?
You're a veteran guy, great route runner, secure hands.
Exactly. So I think that's a situation where I do think that all 3 of these guys can obviously contribute, and I wouldn't underestimate what Rome Odunze can do, even in a crowded offense, because eventually the second half of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if he's their X receiver.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That makes sense.
Opposed to
and then throw Keenan in the slot, maybe.
Keenan in the slot, DJ Moore as the flanker. I think that could make sense.
Or you could flip flop those two.
As of right now, so they just had their game with the first team offense, and we saw Caleb. So it was Keenan Allen and DJ Moore as the primary two wide receivers and two wide receiver sets.
Rome would come in
and then Rome came in when they went to 11 personnel.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of how it worked out.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious if they're going to flip flop that and just kind of
It
play
could end up
around with
happening.
it. I would
First
imagine.
preseason game is for a rookie wide receiver. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I asked a lot of people to submit some questions to ask you, but before we do kind of rapid fire through some questions, I do want to remind people, if you are listening or if you are watching, that we're obviously in Canton, Ohio for the Fantasy Football Expo
Really sick
with
backdrop.
Hall of Fame Village. I mean, arguably the coolest place to record a podcast that we've ever done, and we've done the Super Bowl. And obviously,
arguably, I think this is not arguable. By
it's
the way,
not. It's
Super Bowl was
inarguable.
cool. We had a sick booth, but
you could see in the background right now better. The better QR code's pretty cool, which is pretty sick.
I mean, you can see literally the dome of the Hall of Fame right there.
It's crazy.
Like, this is insane.
So download better.
Let's take it in, guys. Take it in.
Take it in.
Take it in.
Look at the view. Look at the view.
No dead air though.
Yeah,
because that's horrible.
download better. Play better picks. Use promo code CAPSOFF, the only daily fantasy app where you get 1,000 extra money, turn $1 into 1,000. What are we doing? It's not that
We're gonna
close.
hit one of those this year.
We are going to hit 1,000.
We're going to have to, yeah. I think we're going to have to ask Faraz.
How to show some love. So, Faraz, I asked a bunch of people to submit some questions. We're going to try and rapid fire through them. Pacheco or Derrick Henry half PPR?
Oh, so close. I have them like back to back. I'm going Pacheco.
Mike Perillo said, what draft strategy would you go with a 12-man PPR redraft league with the 12th pick in a snake draft?
I'm probably going to go running back heavy because I can get someone like Jahmyr Gibbs there. If AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson are there, I'll take one of those in addition to like someone like Pacheco. But I think Derrick Henry, at that early second round, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think those are the kind of like the four guys I'm targeting. Pacheco's a little bit later, but like if you want him, go grab him. But Gibbs, is Gibbs and one of those two wide receivers is who I'm trying to get.
Gibbs this year, I think, could be incredible.
He's in that tier 2 for me, right, of running backs that we didn't talk about, but easily could finish as the RB1.
I was going to say, yeah.
He's just too talented. Carlos, and you're going to like this, asked, is Garrett Wilson a first-round pick? Obviously.
Yes.
Oh, easily. No doubt, yeah.
Easily. Bearded Dragon said, who are the best sleeper picks? Now, I'll clarify that. Let's maybe do like 3 sleeper picks off the top of your head that you're just saying to yourself.
Or what if we do like a sleeper per position? Your favorite sleeper per position?
Okay.
Maybe? I don't know.
I like that. Should we start a quarterback?
Fun?
Yeah, let's.
We're building a fantasy football team of sleepers this year.
I like that. Ooh.
So that could be kind of fun. I don't know. Let's see what you got. Faraz is the expert. I'm not making this team. If I did it, it would sound really stupid.
Well, I mean, I want to hear you guys' opinion, though.
I'm definitely
I'll give you my
definitely
opinion, by the way. But yeah.
Okay, so you want me to go first?
Yes,
okay,
of course,
I would say Kyler Murray would be my QB1 for the sleeper team because he's going
100%.
off the board like QB8, QB9-ish. He could finish as a top 5 quarterback. He's one of the few quarterbacks who can throw for 4,000 yards and rush for 600.
Yeah,
he can rush for 1,000.
Sure,
fuck it,
he can. And it's he's coming up 1 year removed from the ACL injury now.
Which is usually when we see it.
Huge, right? And now he has Marvin Harrison. He has Trey McBride. 2 very, very good wide receivers.
Michael Wilson's a good wide receiver
Michael
too.
Wilson, also. So it's and don't sleep on my guy Greg Dortch. Okay, Greg Dortch coming out the slot. Okay, so this is a very underrated offense, I think. And
they're not going to win a lot of games, but that offense is going to be fun.
I think it's going to be good. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are locked in QB1, Kyler Murray.
Okay, I got a running back for you. And I switched my stance on this mid offseason. Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams.
I
loved him when he was healthy, and I'm so scared.
I hear you.
Am I supposed to trust Sean Payton?
No, but the price is price is so low for a potential top 15 running back. Here's the thing. Last year,
he looked so bad.
And they gave him like 270 touches.
He looked slow as hell.
He was so bad. But here's the thing. I was avoiding the shit out of Javonte Williams last year. I told everyone to not draft him. Why?
Right.
ACL, MCL, LCL, PCL, like all the CLs. He tore all of them.
Yeah, his knees. He just basically
so you need a year removed. The fact that he was able to play as much as he did, he only had 1 hip injury that caused him to miss like 1 or 2 weeks early on in the season, and then he was good to go. But he looked like shit, obviously. But that was expected. And now, Sean Payton has already said he looks like a completely different running back.
But didn't they draft someone that Sean Payton's sucking off?
Sure, not really. He's not really sucking him off. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a little handy here and there, but like
just
honestly,
a little action, just a little finger,
just a little action. But I think he's doing a little more with Javonte right now. And he said he looks he's looking good.
Where's Javonte going right now?
He's going in the this. I actually have it right here. I think he's going in the 7th round, if not mistaken.
Gosh!
I just think there's a lot of running back value later on if you don't land the top 4 guys.
I literally just posted on my Instagram all of the sleepers that I have going on. Javonte Williams going in the 8th round, guys.
Oh my gosh!
Which is absolutely amazing.
Is Samaje still there?
Samaje is there, but he is a cut candidate.
Okay.
And then there's what's his name? The other guy.
Jaleel McLaughlin.
He was great.
Yeah. Raheem Mostert is my other one.
Dog.
He's going. He's also going in the 8th round. How does the overall RB3 from the year before go in the 8th
touchdown
round?
regression, of course.
Did he
Sure.
lead running backs in touchdowns last year?
Yeah. Well, I think
him
him
and CMC.
Yeah.
Him or CMC?
Yeah,
He was one of
exactly.
the two.
Well, I think they tied, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, but yeah, no, I think obviously yes, they drafted Jalen Wright. Okay, but I would view Jalen Wright as the handcuff to be the 1B of this offense if one of those other running backs, if Achane or Mostert get hurt.
That's fair.
I think McDaniel already called Mostert the leader of the running back room. I'm not saying he's the 1A in the rotation. I think that's still going to be Achane.
Yeah.
But I think Mostert's going to be very involved, and I think he's going to. I think they're going to try to do something similar to last year with Achane getting a little bit more volume, and Mostert being the 1B. But at the goal line, I think they're interchangeable. I think they're going to play a lot of.
Mostert's more of a power guy,
Yeah.
I feel like.
And
He's still a speed guy, though.
Yeah.
He's still fast.
but he's
you know?
definitely stronger and bigger than
Obviously,
Achane.
you know, I think that him being like 30, how is he, 32 or 33 now? He's old.
He's got to be in his 30s.
Old.
And he's definitely in his 30s. He's old for a running back. He's basically retired, but I think he is in a situation where very good offense. He's still, he's still got it. Yards after contact, missed tackles forced, yards created,
Love it.
yards over, rushing yards over expectation per attempt. All of them top 5 last year.
Okay. So you were building out this team. I like it so far. Kyler Murray, Javonte Williams, Raheem Mostert.
Yes.
Who we got on wide receiver
the
one?
boys catching the balls?
Okay. Let's go with Chris Godwin.
Okay.
Chris,
Chris
Godwin is moving back into the slot, and that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
He was playing on the outside last year. He's not an outside receiver. It's one of those things where you put these type of receivers in the slot. That's where they thrive,
and
right?
that's what they're best at. Yeah,
and let him do that. So now they've said vocally, that team, the head coach, offensive coordinator, that he's moving into the slot.
So they're going to give him,
and they're going to get him. They're going to get him.
He's most productive.
Yeah, and he's going in the 7th round right now. So I think he has the ability, and he's done it before. He's been a top 15 fantasy wide receiver before, right?
Yeah.
So he's going into. He's not an old guy. He's going into wide receiver prime age, a little bit maybe towards the tail end of it. But I think he could be really good. So I think he is a classic sleeper this year.
So wide receiver 1, Chris Godwin. Who we got? We're not going to do 3 wide receiver. We're going to do 2 wide receivers, 2 tight end.
Yeah, we could do it like the Lames do.
Yeah.
Like how the Lames set up their roster with only 2 wide receivers.
I got a league like that,
You know what I
so
mean?
sure. Yeah.
Same.
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
it's
That's all I do.
My bad.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Anyway.
totally fine.
It's
I'm a fucking loser. I get it.
It's not a big deal at all.
Deontay Johnson, I think, is my.
Yeah,
is
everyone's saying Deontay Johnson.
How can everybody say Deontay Johnson, but his ADP doesn't rise? I don't understand.
Well, because I think you guys are all a bunch of fantasy football nerds, and most casual guys like us.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just think Panthers Deontay Johnson drops the ball a lot. I'm fucking avoiding him at all costs.
Right.
But now that's my
now,
guy.
because you
It's
said so.
Well, because him and 85,000 other people this weekend have said Deontay Johnson. So
But I also
that's
think
our
the other
guy.
part of it was 2 years ago now where he didn't catch a single fucking touchdown.
Yeah.
So everyone is still holding on to that. We're positive touchdown regression, which is not even a fucking word in the English dictionary, but just a word in the
You
fucking
love
fantasy.
positive
I love
regression,
positive
Russ.
regression, but it's not a real thing. We made that up in the fantasy community.
And what the fuck is positive? I don't want to get
You
into
regress
this.
positively, of course.
fuck does that
It's a
mean?
double negative in a way, and it's like
So you improved. All right, sorry, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Continue.
Yeah.
So just say he improved.
I just don't think when I look at Deontay Johnson, I actually think weirdly that Panthers wide receiver room has a lot of talent. So it does scare me. I get it's a sleeper and he has the talent. What is he, 29?
No. He's not. He's like
28? 27?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
way
How
younger than I
old
thought.
is Deontay Johnson? Siri is telling me that he was born in 96. He's 27.
Oh, 27. Okay.
Yeah. Wow, that's wild. He's the same age.
So yeah, I think I see what you're saying, but I also you don't like XL being there. I think you've talked up Jonathan Mingo a lot.
A little bit.
I think Adam Thielen's a guy that still could potentially produce. So
Xavier
there's still a lot of
Leggett, when
mouths to
he's healthy,
feed.
could be
I think
great,
the talent gap between Deontay Johnson and the rest of these wide receivers is one of the biggest in the NFL between wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2.
And I feel like people are thinking that Adam Thielen is back and still really good because of last year. He was just fantasy relevant.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And it was also 5 weeks of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
the whole. He was a wide receiver 1 for 5 weeks of the season. But
Dude,
again,
people
this
were
is why
oh, this is the biggest.
This is
steal
why
of the
we
year.
don't extrapolate, right? If Adam Thielen got hurt right after that stretch,
I sold him so fast.
yeah, you have to, right?
Yeah.
So it's that was a good decision.
no
But I
doubt.
do think Deontay, he is one of the best route runners in the NFL, one of the best
There's a
separators.
reason he was the one over Pickens too.
And you look at Bryce Young's, skill set, right?
Yeah.
And he does have one, contrary to a lot of people what they believe. But I think think
Dude,
he
rookie
needed
quarterbacks. You can't even like think about them.
he needed somebody to separate last year,
Yeah.
and literally his receivers ranked dead last and
separation,
in
right?
separation.
Yeah.
And Deontay Johnson, they're literally getting somebody who separates at one of the best rates in the NFL. Actually, over the last, I would say, I think it was 5 seasons. I forgot exactly what it was. Deontay Johnson ranked, I think it was like top 5 in separation percentage or whatever.
He'll probably
whatever
be
that stat
Bryce
is.
Young's biggest security blanket all year.
100%.
I mean,
And
Little
Dave
5-yard out.
and look at Dave
Love that
Canales
route, by
coming
the
in.
way.
Right, he's a QB whisperer, right? He did it for Geno, he did it for Baker, and he could do it for a former number 1 overall pick.
Well,
right?
that's what people, and I've been talking about the Panthers a little bit higher than most people do, I think, recently. I actually think Bryce Young is due for positive regression.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, it's
you like
nice
that?
when
Is
it
that-
applies to you, fuckface.
Did I use it correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Somewhat.
I think he's going to improve this year a lot. He got more wide receiver help. Year 2 in the league too. Already knows the system. I like Canales too. I think there's a lot of stuff to like about Bryce Young this year in general.
Oh, yeah.
So
They
you
could
all
be
right.
decent.
So you got DJ. So those are your 2, Godwin, DJ. Who's your tight end sleeper to finish off this roster?
Oh man. Okay, so can I give 2 answers, please?
Yeah, of
I think
course.
Trey McBride has the ability to finish as the overall tight end 1.
Yeah.
Overall tight end 1.
I have
this
him.
year.
I
I
Nice.
actually have him ranked as my tight end 1 this year.
Really?
Yeah. It's not even like I'm actually projecting him to be the tight end 1. Like I'm not even saying that like that's in his range of possibilities.
The tight end position this year is a shit show.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what to make of
I
it.
actually don't know if I agree with that. I feel like there's
I
a
don't-
lot more parity.
Yeah, because you have Sam Laporta.
But that's why I'm saying there's parity where it's like I don't know where to go.
You know, people are sleeping on Mark Andrews too. Like I don't really understand it. Like if I can't get Trey McBride, I'm getting Mark
Andrews?
Andrews because he's
Yeah.
going so late. He's the number 1 target for Lamar Jackson. Okay, so and it's not Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at the splits between
He's full legend.
between when Mark Andrews was on and off the field last year, Zay
Yeah.
Flowers' numbers are completely different. You know, so just keep that in mind when you're drafting either of those guys.
I think I'm gonna stay away from Zay.
I think I am too.
Yeah.
He said stay away from Zay, by the way.
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick a later round tight end, I think Jake Ferguson, just because the offense, there's nobody behind CeeDee Lamb right now. So it's good. I think Jake Ferguson's easily the number 2 target there. I'm kind of warming up to David Njoku. I know the splits. I know the splits between Watson and Flacco last year were very different when it comes to the performance for Njoku, but it's like, I'm looking at this, I'm just like, well, you know what? I mean, is it really because like Joe Flacco was like that guy and that's why Njoku was doing well? I think it could end up being that he can kind of bring it into this year. And I had a Dow Ryder, who's a beat reporter for the Browns, on my show as well, and he said that the clear number 2 wide receiver right now behind Amari Cooper is David Njoku.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I guess like Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy are both guys that kind of just
Yeah, and that's
underperformed.
I was a little bit worried. I'm not gonna lie. When Jerry Jeudy came in, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
does this take away from Njoku a little bit? I don't know, but it seems like that's not the case right now in camp, and Njoku's actually
It's a
killing
damn
it.
good team of sleepers.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be honest.
probably can't win a league with them.
Oh, I
but,
just thought of
yeah.
something. This is.
What'd you think of?
This will put you on the spot. Okay. Faraz, hypothetical scenario. You are from the future. All right? 2025 fantasy drafts. Who is the number 1 player from each position coming off the board? So I want to know who is the quarterback 1
2025?
in 2025 because you saw the future. I want to know the RB 1. I want to know the wide receiver 1. And I want to know the tight end 1 in a rapid fire form.
Because he saw the future.
Because he saw the future. He's from the
Yeah.
future. Of course.
Was it 2025 QB1 Anthony Richardson,
Yes, I love that.
RB1 Brees Hall,
Okay, sex.
Down.
Jets fan. Bias.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sure.
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver.
Of course.
wide receiver 1 Justin Jefferson,
Okay. How? Okay. Continue.
quarterback improvements, a rookie quarterback going into year 2.
And it's Justin fucking Jefferson.
Might see
Okay.
some promising stuff at the end of the year.
Okay.
Okay,
He's back.
and it's Justin Jefferson.
Okay. Well, that's a little contradictory, but
Continue.
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Adam, I live in nuance. I live in it.
Okay.
I live in it.
Nuance is one of those words that's really strong. Continue.
You can't argue anyone with nuance.
No.
All right, and then tight end 1 Trey McBride.
Ooh.
Yeah,
What's the future like, by the way?
that sucks, man. I'd rather be in the present.
Yeah, fucking right. Fucking right, buddy.
Because if I was in the future, I wouldn't be here with you guys.
That's very sweet.
Oh,
of
that's
you.
really cute.
That's
Thank
very
you.
adorable.
Appreciate that, man.
I want to go back to a few questions before we begin to wrap up.
Tycho's crying.
Aww, Tyke.
cute.
Can't wait to be away from Tycho in the future. Should we talk about the Cowboys for a sec, or what time is it? Do we have time?
It's 5 o'clock. We can begin. I want to just ask a few more questions in rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid.
Because I didn't get to. Would you draft Brees before Tyreek with the number 2 overall?
By the way, I was feeling under the weather before I started this podcast.
And you feel better?
Yeah?
I feel so much
You
better
want to get a
now.
drink? What?
Sure.
Who said that? That's crazy.
I'm sorry.
What time did we go to bed last night? Would you draft Breece Hall with the number 2 overall over Tyreek?
Yes.
Okay, you said that. I
would.
just hard disagree.
But I'm not going to.
Okay.
But I would.
But you would.
But I wouldn't. But I'm not going to. I'll take Tyreek
Biggest rookie sleeper from Kevin.
or CD. Biggest rookie sleeper?
Yeah, I think it's still for me.
Sleeper?
I like
That's a
Jonathan
good
Brooks.
question, man.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you're
I
a
like
bit of
that
a-
too.
you've
That's
been
a
a
really
big
good
Brooks
one.
guy.
I just think Jonathan Brooks is a guy that
I agree.
someone might draft him later in drafts, but he's not going to play for the first couple weeks.
Sure. Which is
So
totally
someone
fine.
will probably drop him because they're going to say, what is the expectation there?
Waiver wire
And you're going to
legend.
see by week 7, so a touch here and there, and before you know it, he's going to be a guy that you could easily start as your RB2 by the back half of the year that can help.
You think it's
win
almost
your
going to be
league.
like Jahmyr
RB1.
Gibbsy?
You think he's going to be an RB? Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
Todd Gurley coming off a clean ACL injury his rookie year. He missed a couple games. He came in, finished as the RB8 overall. Last year, Breece Hall, clean ACL tear coming into the year, finished as the RB8 overall. I think Jonathan Brooks can do something very similar.
RB8 overall, it sounds like. Potentially.
2 last questions for you. Is Kelsey the tight end 1 this year?
No, he's not. I think he's more like tight end 3 or so.
And are you drafting Kelsey then at that point?
I have 0% of Kelsey this year.
I feel like where Travis Kelce's getting drafted, the value is just not there. It's
I have
not worth it.
McBride. I have a ton of McBride and a ton of Mark Andrews right now. Those are the
so
two
you want
guys I'm
nothing to do
going
with Travis Kelsey this
for.
year?
No, because where he's going, I'd rather just take the wide receivers and running backs that
And
are going there.
like, think about how old he is too. At some point, like, it's just gonna fall off.
Yeah.
Right.
Last but not least, 0 RB or hero RB in a 12-team PPR. Which strategy do you like more?
I go hero RB. I'll let to
Does
grab
it
that running
depend
back.
where in the draft you're
Yeah,
selecting?
it does.
or-
It does.
yeah.
It really does. It depends on who's available, who's there. But if I can get that like elite running back, I
Yeah.
will. And I think I think it kind of extends. Obviously, we talk about the big
Yeah,
four
yeah.
that we talked about, but I think it extends a little bit. If you're taking Isaiah Pacheco later, if you're taking Derrick Henry later, I think it extends to those guys. Obviously, not as strong.
Yeah.
Not as strong of a hero. Those guys are superheroes.
Yeah.
These guys are heroes.
Yeah, would they still save?
Yeah, it's like
They still
Ant-Man,
save.
you know?
Still a power.
Yeah.
I guess.
The Green Lantern
There you go.
type. Yeah.
I like that better.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
mean,
chill.
Deadpool's
Funny
fine.
guy, though.
Yeah,
Deadpool's
comedy.
Yeah.
All right, that was sweet. You wanna talk Cowboys lastly?
Yeah, we could talk some Cowboys. I think we should talk Cowboys. Like, what the fuck is Jerry Jones doing? Is he the stupidest man on earth?
Is Jerry Jones the stupidest man?
Is Jerry Jones the stupidest man on the planet?
Don't-
Like, why would you openly say that? Oh yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna re-sign CD or not. That whole shit. What was up with that?
And you saw what CD said, right? Did you
he's
see what he
he's
tweeted?
like, oh, like what's up?
Like, why are you making him upset for no reason?
I just don't understand. Like, what is the logic behind it? Like, are you trying to publicly negotiate? We know how this goes in the NFL. You try and publicly negotiate. Look what Brandon Ayuk has gotten the Niners into. This is not going to
Are you
work
we're
out.
fine. We're
Are
fine.
you paying attention to current events? You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what's happening.
Yeah.
Everything about, like, anything anyone's talking about is Brandon Ayuk right now in that situation.
Yes.
And now he's literally just opening that door for that to happen again with CeeDee Lamb. And it's just like, it's not
like,
cool.
dude, it's like maybe don't publicly piss your best players off. I feel like that's probably a good strategy.
Also, I'm willing to bet that there are teams watching the CeeDee Lamb situation unfold, knowing that he is a better wide receiver than Brandon Ayuk, and saying, "Wait, hold up." There's a chance that
This
this
is
dude
great for
might
my
ask
team
out.
then, huh?
Yeah.
This
so
is great
like
for the Niners.
the Steelers are a team. Well, no one wants to go to New England, but there are teams out there that might be watching this CeeDee Lamb situation, saying, "You know what? I'm actually going to hold because I know this dude is about to ask out." There's no fucking way that the Cowboys are going to be able to get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb
And Dak at the same time.
and Dak at the same time.
And Micah.
And Micah.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are fucked.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Cowboys are literally fucked.
I mean, regardless at this point, it seems like I feel like CD has to be the odd man out, right? It seems like.
Well, no, because I don't think you could have CD without having Dak, and you can't have Dak without having CD. So
Yeah, but then what do you do with
Micah's
Micah?
I think Dak is the odd man out.
You think so?
I think he's going to enter
I
free
feel
agency.
I feel it's so hard though to find a quarterback. Like
The thing is, he has a
very, very good
no
quarterback.
tag clause. Like, you can't tag him.
well, they've already tagged him. That's why.
Yeah, but
They've already done it enough.
But they can't tag him, so it's like now he has all the power, right? Like, so he can leave in free agency and get a bag.
But I think what you're forgetting is the fact that even if he does leave, that there's dead cap for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Because of the way they've
Wouldn't it be the
structured their
largest dead
contract.
cap hit ever?
It will be the
Yeah.
largest dead cap hit in NFL history if Dak leaves. So it's actually in the best interest of the Cowboys for their cap situation, which they're already fucked in, to bring back Dak Prescott.
Look at their offseason this year too. It's just like, what are they doing? Like,
They didn't do it. They got
nothing.
Zeke. They reunited with Ezekiel Elliott.
No, the Cowboys got a new running back. I don't know if you heard. Did you hear about this?
Zeke?
Micah Parsons.
They've been
No, literally,
in
the
practice,
Cowboys have been
yeah.
giving snaps to Micah Parsons at running back.
I think this is how you can justify paying all three of them, by the way.
Exactly.
If Micah's
Less
like
money.
the Shohei Ohtani
Oh.
of football,
Ooh.
two-way guy,
yeah.
could
Why don't we
be valuable.
normalize two-way players in football?
Well, because they'd probably get hurt and their careers would be like 3 years long.
What do you guys think is going to happen with what's his name? Travis Hunter. Thank you.
I think he's going to play wide receiver.
Wide receiver. What about you? What do you think?
I mean, I think wide receiver seems like the right
Yeah.
call, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like also if you're him, why would you not pick wide receiver? There's more money in it.
Yeah, more money,
more fun.
Even if you're like not, you don't end up being elite, you're still going to get paid crazy.
Bringing it back to the Micah situation,
Sorry.
though, like obviously you don't want to put one of your best players at risk of being injured, but Micah played fucking running back in high school. He had 27 touchdowns in his
Jesus
senior
Christ, he
fucking
did.
year. Like, this dude is a specimen.
Yeah.
And I think
I mean, he's what, 250, 60 and runs the sub
it
4,
would
5,
not like
40?
but
You just can't play one of your most important players at one of the least important positions.
Well,
Exactly,
and not even that, like probably the most injury-prone position
Yeah, oh, yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like that's the stupidest thing you could do.
It's like everybody gives all these coaches shit when they run their running backs like up the middle, right? Like look how Tank Dell got hurt last year, right?
Yep.
He was like blocking
Like
in the middle.
he just
like,
got clipped on.
Yeah,
I'm
what are
like,
you
maybe
doing,
people are like, oh, well, the defense, it'll be harder to tackle Micah. It's like, no, it won't. They tackle Derrick Henry all the fucking time. You think they're not just going to bring down Micah, go for his legs? That's terrible for the Cowboys.
I think the
That's
Cowboys are
ridiculous.
fucked. I don't know the direction that they're going to go in, but it feels like it's going to be Dak and CeeDee, and Micah will be the odd man out.
Micah.
But if I am also running that team, knowing that that's how the cap situation is going to go, I'm moving one of them before I know I have zero leverage. Because as of right now, that leverage is dwindling.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, if you do keep Dak, you have to keep CeeDee because it would make no sense to keep your quarterback and not keep his best weapon, one of the best weapons in football. Like, I feel like an edge rusher is easier to replace than a star top 3 wide receiver and a really good quarterback, in my opinion. I don't know. That's
I think Dak's a top 5 quarterback, personally.
Yeah, I think top 5 to 10. He's not outside the top 10.
You're quiet.
He's just listening, man.
You know what I'm going to finish our episode off with?
Yes. Who's better than Dak? Is that what you're gonna do?
Something along those lines.
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead, go
Faraz,
for it.
I need your top 10 quarterbacks going
Top
into
10 quarterbacks.
2024.
Oh my God, this is so
We do this
do
all
this
the
every-
time.
every single person
I
comes
just
on, you know
said
this.
my top 10 quarterbacks.
All right.
I put that out there. I got fucking shat and dookied on.
Okay, here we go.
I like it. I want to know.
Starting from 1,
Starting from 1.
Brock
Jesus
Purdy.
Christ.
All right, moving on to
Starting
number
from
2.
2.
All right, let's go. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Whoa, what?
At number
All right, you
1.
can't do
Number
that
2,
joke anymore.
I'm gonna go Josh Allen at number 2.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I'm going to go Lamar Jackson at number 3.
Sure.
I am going to. This is where it gets tricky, right? At 4.
Do it. Do it.
4.
I feel like
What
Do
quarterback?
it.
What quarterbacks are? Can you guys
Joe
help me out
Burrow,
here?
Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Brock,
Justin Herbert to
I'm gonna go like. I guess I'll go Burrow. Like it's like.
Yeah, I feel like that's the consensus
to
for,
me,
by the
by the
way.
way,
I'll go
that's
Burrow.
exactly what my 4 was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Because I
cool.
just think Joe Burrow hasn't played.
Yeah.
At some point, we're gonna have to
Yeah.
bump him down, but
Sure.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he's still at 4. At 5, this is where it gets freaky.
This is
Yeah.
where it gets really fun.
Yeah. It gets really fun here.
Naughty.
I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts because of his, dual threat nature. I think I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts here. Okay. I know.
So
it's-
bad last year.
L take.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Help me out. What other quarterbacks are at the top?
Justin Herbert, Brock, Tua, Dak,
Jared Goff, Dak.
Jared Goff, Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud.
I'll go C.J. Stroud. Actually,
At
I'll go
7?
C.J. Stroud at 7. Yeah, and then I'll go Dak after that.
Well, no, at 6.
At
CJ
6.
Because
Six.
5
And then I'll go-
was
and then I'll go Dak.
Hurts.
I'll go
Then
Dak.
five
I'll
Jalen
go Dak after that.
CJ 6, Dak 7.
And then I'll go with I'll go Kyler Murray at 8.
Ooh,
And-
spicy.
Yeah, you think so?
Adam, give me a nothing.
Nothing.
And then I'll go.
I don't think Kyler's a top 10 quarterback right now, but
No,
this is your list. This
yeah.
is your list.
You know what? Faraz is thinking about like 2 or 3 years ago when he had that really good half season.
Yeah, before the Call of Duty clause
Oh
came
my
out.
God! Please. All right.
The fact that you haven't put Jordan Love, Tua, Brock, and Jared Goff, those types of guys within that
I'll
realm.
go probably Jordan Love next.
Jesus
At
fucking
8?
Christ.
I think so.
Is that
yeah.
8 or 9? I don't know how to fucking
I think
count.
we're at 9.
And then I'll go.
Jordan Love at 9.
And then I'll go Tua.
Bang!
What the fuck's wrong with you, man? So you got no. Okay, so Dude, there's people are watching.
Who am I missing? I'm really bad. I'm really bad.
Oh, you're missing like Justin Herbert, Brock Purdy.
Oh yeah, Justin Herbert is like probably is better than Tua.
Oh, okay. So Adam, did you hear that?
My bad.
He just replaced Tua with Justin Herbert at 10.
Ahead of Tua. I'm sorry. No. At nine.
No, this is 10. This is 10.
That was 10?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Justin Herbert's 10.
Yeah, but it's
Tua
fine,
is out of the conversation.
Because Tua is a top 11 quarterback, so it's fine.
Dude, Tua has. By the way, Brock didn't even get mentioned, so
I know
fucking
this.
hold my dick.
It's fine.
Yeah, Brock.
Tua has outperformed Justin Herbert in every statistical category over the last 2 years. How can we look at Justin Herbert and say,
Mike McDaniel merchant.
what doesn't fucking matter? Justin Herbert is still a guy that came in with the best fucking weapons out of any of these guys. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams. He came in with the best. What are we going to forget? Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant.
How does
Tyreek fucking Hill?
I'm saying in the
Jalen Waddle.
How does Tua have worse weapons than
what are
No,
you
I'm
Justin
saying
Herbert?
the quarterbacks when they came into the league, the quarterbacks were Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Tua in the same draft, correct?
So we're
Justin
talking 4
Herbert,
years
true or
ago?
false, had the best weapons out of all of them at the time.
But we're talking about
Listen
right
to me.
now, Adam.
Follow.
Sure.
He had the best weapons.
Because
Those-
all Tua had was Waddle at the time, I think.
No, he didn't even have Waddle. He had Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson.
gotcha.
Those were types.
Was he good?
I don't even think Albert Wilson was there. No, and he had the best win-loss record out of all of them, right?
Oh my God, are we going win-loss?
So
This is-
now,
this is 4 years ago, brother.
Okay,
I don't
so
care
we're
about
gonna bring it
win-loss.
to present day, the last 2 years, which is all I can go off of. At some point, I cannot ignore stats, and it's the same goes for Brock Purdy. At some point, I got to stop with the fucking eye test and say, okay, every major statistical category, you have been top 5 to top 7 in, all across the board. So how can I ignore and say, okay, Justin Herbert,
Adam,
but the
well,
potential?
you're forgetting,
It's gonna
that
happen
Justin
again.
Herbert just slangs that motherfucking thing.
Yeah, and also this year
fun
it's
to
going to be Justin Herbert might have his worst statistical season ever this year.
Yeah.
because of the fact that his weapons aren't that great.
So we're just going to
and-
keep discrediting then, and we're just going to be like, it's fine. He just got no
listen,
weapons.
there's a difference, right? We're talking about ability, we're talking about talent, and then we're talking about stats, right? I feel like those are different conversations. You know what I mean? If you ask me like, oh, who's going to have the best stats this year? It's a different conversation. I think Tua, he led the league in passing yards last year, and I think that it could happen again.
I think
you know?
Tua's a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert I think Justin Herbert can be and has the talent. He slings it way fucking further.
Sure.
But at some point, I got to take what you've been able to do for me right now, and Tua's been more
So
successful
on
at
that
that.
note,
I'm a-
why is Brock Purdy not even like remotely
I'm a
considered?
terrible quarterback evaluator, by the way. It's so bad.
Oh fuck yeah, good. No, continue to leave
absolutely
Brock
terrible.
out. Thank you. No, like I'm actually curious from your perspective.
Yeah, I'll
why
tell you.
was Brock Purdy not even remotely considered? You never mentioned him once. I
Out
had
of
to mention
all
him like 10 times.
all the guys I mentioned, I think he had the highest off-target percentage. He had the highest.
That's not a stat that I use ever with him.
it's a new one.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, you know, it's like, well, if another quarterback was in his place, one of the guys that I mentioned, I think they would have a much better year. I think they would have been depending on that quarterback. a lot more.
Understandable. I get it.
But I think you know he's very good. I think he's a really good game manager. And I think that if it just because he's in the 49ers offense, he's able to execute it. really well.
Faraz, if you put Tua in Brock Purdy's exact
Yeah.
system, does he have a better year than Brock Purdy?
Oh, no doubt about it. Hell yeah. Easily.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Why would you take this with anything? He just said he's a terrible quarterback evaluator.
Sure.
So
I am.
It's just,
this is all relevant.
but I'm
at
a
this
quarterback
point.
evaluator, so
Good point. Yep.
that was good. I got
Sick.
no. I'm out of questions. Faraz,
Yeah.
I love you, man. Thank you for
Love you
coming
too.
on.
That was
This
awesome.
is great. We
Oh,
got to
yeah,
do
man.
this more
So much
often.
fun.
Being in Canton,
This is
having
so-
this
this
as
is
the
so cool.
backdrop.
This is so sick.
It's insane. This has been really, really cool to
wanna
be able
get
to
some
be at the
merch.
Hall of Fame Village. It's unbelievable. If you ever are in the area passing by, I highly recommend coming to
Very,
Canton,
very
Ohio.
cool.
Come see the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Come see Hall of Fame Village. They have a ton of rides. It's beautiful. It's way nicer than I thought, I'll be
I
honest.
didn't realize there was a whole ass village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
insane.
cool.
It's beautiful.
It's a Ferris wheel here.
There's a fucking Ferris
There's
wheel.
a zip line. Yeah. And by the way, if you like drinking and stuff, 2 really cool bars and restaurants
And
here.
what's one of them named after?
Oh god, this one coach.
Yeah,
for the porpoises,
the
pork
winningest
pie?
coach of all time, Don
Shula.
fucking Shula.
Yeah, but the other place, let me see right here. The Brew something.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
It's
make sure
cool.
to stop by.
They got
Come to the Pro
simulators.
Football Hall of Fame. Come to Canton, Ohio. Come see. Make sure to check out Faraz at Upperhand Fantasy on his Instagram channel. He's got a podcast. He also has Patreon. If you want to be a paying subscriber, please support fucking Faraz. The dude makes unbelievable content. I've been listening to him for years now. It's funny, years ago our paths had crossed. You blew up on social, and now we're here sitting in Canton, Ohio, and we've done many episodes together. So we always appreciate you coming on. You're the fucking man.
100%, guys.
And
I appreciate you guys having me always. And, you know, I wish you guys nothing but success. You guys are going to kill it. I'm very bullish on you guys just in general.
Fuck yeah.
For the
I
future.
love you.
Oh, by the way, from the future.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way,
yeah.
so what does the
is that?
future have in
What does the
store?
future look like for Caps Off?
You guys are just top of the world.
Ooh.
Top of the world.
That's pretty cool. I like to do that.
Top of the world.
Yeah.
The top of the world's pretty nice.
Sounds nice. Sounds neat.
But yeah, and then wrapping up,
You should come
obviously.
to Miami, by the way. Come through.
Yeah, we gotta
hell
get you there.
yeah.
Oh no, work trip to Miami.
no.
Shoot. Oh fuck. That's a
But yeah,
horrible
football
place.
season right around the corner. Make sure to download Better, play Better Picks. Obviously, the only daily fantasy sports app where you can 1,000x your money, $1 into 1,000. Season-long projections are now live, so make sure to download Better.
100K.
What?
100 into 100K.
Yep, you can do that.
Could be fun.
So yeah, this has been fun. We'll see you Wednesday for our episode, and love you. Bye.
Bye.
Caps Off is brought to you by Better, starring Adam Spachnik, Jack Perotti, and this guy Pat right now, who we don't know if we're officially giving a seat to.
Cool.
Make sure to check out our socials at Caps Off Pod on Instagram and Caps Off Podcast on TikTok. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the link in the description. And as always, be sure to download Better and play Better Picks with promo code CAPSOFF to play the best daily fantasy football app on the market.